Hello and welcome to this Twitch session on building and securing a web application with Spring Boot. In this session, I will demonstrate how to develop and secure web applications with Spring Boot. However, before beginning with the application, let me introduce myself. I'm the author of the book named Spring Boot inPractice. This book is a recipe-style Spring Boot book that demonstrates the practical use of Spring Boot. It also dives into various concepts of Spring Boot such as auto configuration, failure analyzers, actuator, Spring Boot starter configuration, Spring security, and various other things. Our book talks about various practical use of Spring Boot, and in this session, I'll demonstrate the use of Spring Boot by building and securing a Spring Boot based web application. So what are we building? We'll build a web application that lets you keep track of various conferences. This is a similar application that we have used in our book. In this application, we will use Spring Boot as the backend and Thymeleaf to build the application. So we'll use Thymeleaf along with HTML, CSS and Bootstrap to build the UI. Finally, we'll use Spring Security to enable a form-based login to secure the application. Let us begin with building a Spring Boot project first. So let's open Spring Initializr at start.spring.io. I'll be building a Maven project along with Java. So we have used the latest Spring Boot release 2.5.1 and group ID. I have selected com manning SPIP Twitch, and we are using packaging as jar and Java version as Java 8. Let us now add the dependencies. So we'll use web Spring web dependency and JPA, H2 database, Thymeleaf. We'll also use Lombok. We'll use Spring Boot dev tools. We'll use validation. Okay, so these are fine for now. Let us generate the project. I have extracted this downloaded zip file and imported into Spring Tool Suite. So this is the project structure. So this is the generated project and we haven't added anything yet. Okay, and we have added these following dependencies: Spring Data JPA, Thymeleaf, Spring Boot Starter Validation, Wave, dev tools, H2 database, Lombok, and Spring Boot Starter Test. So let's now begin with creating the packages. So I will have model, service, repository, and controller packages. Let us now add the model, which is conference in this case. So as we are using Lombok, we'll add the data annotation here, and this is also a JPA entity, as well as we'll add our noworks constructor. Okay, now our conference will have following fields: an ID, a conference name, a conference date and time, conference location, conference speaker, and the status of the conference. So let's add this field. We have created the conference entity, so it has an ID, name, the date time of the conference, the location, speaker is the location of the conference, and so on. So we have also used the validation. So the conference name should not be empty, so we have used that at not empty annotation. Okay, so we have also given that messages. So in case when in the UI when we will apply the validations, so these messages will be displayed in case the user is not filling up the details. Let us now move on to create the conference repository interface. Okay, so let's annotate with repository, and this extends called repository, and the type here is conference, and ID is long. So we'll not have any custom method, so leave it like this. Now let's define this conference service. So this service will contain a few of the methods which we'll be using in the controller. And the update conference, it takes the ID of the conference and the updated object. Next we'll have the get conferences. Next we'll get conference by ID. So this returns an optional. Lastly, we'll have a method that deletes a pet specific conference. Okay. So let us now provide our default implementation of this interface. And this implements conference service. Okay, and this is going to be a service. Okay, let's implement all the methods. Okay, so this one, so first thing we're going to do is that auto where the conference repository here. Right, and okay, so here let's save it, conference repository dot save conference. Next update. So before we do the update, we need to get that conference from the DB, and then if it is present, then we'll update. So let's get the conference first. Conference repository dot find by ID this returns again an optional. Okay, so if it exists, if conversion dot is present, then we are going to update. So first conference Okay, I have now gone ahead and created these methods. So what you're doing is that once we get the db conference instance, we are setting the updated values and finally saving into the conference repository. And then I have also implemented that get conferences method, which actually use that conference repository to get all the conferences. Same thing is for the other two methods as well. So as this session is only for 30 minutes, I just try to save some time. Let us now go ahead and create our controller. So we'll have a conference controller. Let's add the conference controller class, and this is going to be a plain controller as we are using Thymeleaf here. Okay, and this requires the conference service. Okay, let's auto wire this. Okay, this dot conference service. Okay, and let's auto add it here. All right, let us now have our endpoints. So first one, we're going to add one for our index page. And this one is redirecting to the index endpoint. Okay, let us now add the next one, which will be the actually index endpoint. Okay, and this takes the model. So what we'll do here is we will actually get the list of conferences first. So let's use conference service dot get conferences, and let us use it. Okay, next we'll do so we'll use this conferences, and this list could be empty, so let's check if conference list dot is empty, then pass an empty list. Otherwise let's pass this conference list. Okay, and return it to the index page. Okay, I'll add the other endpoints as well. Okay, I have also created the remaining endpoints. So let us go through those endpoints briefly. So I've added that add conference endpoint. So this will return to the add conference HTML page, and it will show that add conference HTML page. And once we submit the details in that conference HTML page, it will actually hit this endpoint. We'll have this conference binding result and the model. So if all the details are provided in the conference page, it's okay. It will continue and create the conference in the system. Otherwise, it will return to the add conference page, and it will show the error messages which we have defined in the conference Pujo class. Okay. Next, we have defined the endpoint for update. So similarly, and this is a get endpoint, and for this particular ID, it is going to return to the update conference page, where it will actually show the details which was already filled for the particular conference ID. And once the user has make some changes, it will actually come to this put mapping, and again it will perform the validation. If a validation is wrong, it will actually redirect to the same update conference HTML page. Otherwise, it will invoke the update conference method in the conference service, and it will update the conference details. Eventually, it will actually get all the conferences and return the user back to the index page. And lastly, we have this delete endpoint, so that we can actually delete a particular conference details. In a nutshell, these are the endpoints which we'll be leveraging in our application. Next, what we have done is that in the application of properties, I have added the following configurations. These few configurations are for H2 database and all, and we have included the H2 console. Next, I have also included the following dependencies. So we are using Bootstrap jQuery. So we have included these dependencies so that we can use those in our HTML pages. So I have also included 3 HTML pages. So as you can see from the controller, we have the index page, we have the add conference.html page, and update conference.html page for now. So in the index.html, so this is basically we have leveraged Bootstrap features. So what basically does is that it actually checks if the conference list is empty. It just shows this message that you haven't added any conferences yet, and it gives the user an option to add new conference. If there are conferences available, it just shows all the conference details through a table. Then the add conference page, this is a similar type of page. Only thing, it actually gives the user HTML page where it can actually ask the conference details, and the user can actually save those details in the div in the application. And the update conference.html page let the user update the conference details. So we have in all these 3 pages, we have actually used Thymeleaf. So syntax, for example, this th and all these. So these are from Thymeleaf. Okay, so yeah, that's all about the changes for now. Let us now start the application. Okay, so we haven't configured any specific port, so it's going to run in port 8080. Okay, so let's use here. Okay, so this is the home page or application index page. Now we don't have any courses and any conferences yet, so let's add a conference. Okay, let's say Spring Boot microservices, and let's put a date. Okay, location, let's give a location, and speaker, let's say John Doe, and add the conference. The application stores the conference details. Similarly, let's add one more conference details. This is Spring Boot with Docker. Location, let's select another location and a speaker. Okay, so as you can see, we can actually store our conferences in the application. Now let's use the edit option. So let's say this particular conference is cancelled, so we can actually cancel it. Okay, now it's updated. Also, you can delete a particular conference details from the application. Okay, so the basic features of the application is working fine now.